Happy Friday. It's the free for all. I'm happy. Why? Because it's cloudy and rainy. No, normally I'd be like, oh man, what a crappy day. But it's been warm and sunny like every day this week. And it's really hard for me to not go outside and just want to veg out on the patio, soak up some sun, take an extra long dog walk, water the grass. So now that it's raining and cloudy, I'm stuck inside being very overly productive, and I'm spending less money on the water bill, not having to water my grass. So, good morning. Happy rainy Friday from Madison, Wisconsin. George in the house. Tracy says, good morning. Anyone watch Go GTS last night? I need to put Go GTS in my rotation. I should go back and watch it. Live shows time are tough for me on Monday. Hobby Hotline is sometimes I watch it live. Some usually I don't. It's just tough for me watching primetime. And Go GTS is one of the to at least attempt to watch it more. I think I could have last night. Because I basically 7 o'clock rolled around and it's like I'm done for the day and just hung out. Let's see. Terry, good morning to you. Herman, what's up? Good morning, Hobby World. Jenny says, good morning, Hobby Universe. Online sales will be better during the National. The National will be from the buyer side of the table. So that's the topic. And Jenny mentioned that. I don't know if you tweeted at me, but it got me thinking. I threw a poll up. I thought I threw a poll up last year. But I didn't. I just basically tweeted out, hey, are you going to the National? And it wasn't in poll form. So I did poll form. So we'll check the results of that. And I'll just share my experience from last year. If you followed the show, I've touched on my shocking results of last year National, when it was like everybody was going to the National, it seemed, in 2021. Turkey Cards, what's up? Good morning. Ed is with us. Good morning to you. Victor, what's up? Happy Friday. David Cooter, good morning. Enjoying my coffee on the front porch swing before it's hot enough to melt concrete. Yeah, it's I think it's going to be comfortable today. Let's see. Victor says, same here, cloudy and showers all day. I will take it. We need it. Good thing for the Cubs. They're really sucking it up. I have not watched, even though I still proudly wear the colors. I have not watched a game in a while. I'm hoping those ticket prices go down after the All-Star break and get a discount to go to the expensive confines. Let's see. Herman says, clear skies here. Got an early start so I can get my camping trip started. Very nice. Zach and Porter in the house. Brian Wolf, good morning to you. So happy Friday. What's going on? Yesterday, I added another, almost 200 listings, I think. Over 1,200 listings added to my eBay store this week alone. I am approaching 16,000 active listings, which I've really kind of gone in overdrive. Buying those dime boxes outright really helped. It gives me a lot of inventory, to just easy inventory, even though it's lesser and you don't have to comp it. Yep, I'm approaching 16,000. That's kind of my goal for the weekend, is by the end of the weekend, by Monday morning, 18,000 active listings. But today I'm going to kind of focus on, we have our meeting with our designer today for the new house. So that'll slow me down midday. So it's basically going to be a shipping day. Maybe I can get, it takes me an hour to do 100 listings or so, 125. So I can squeeze in, make time. I have my tools to easily, here's the next tab. So I can probably, and just find an hour today, do a lot of shipping this morning, do our design work, post office run, spend an hour, get another 100 listed. And the thing is, I'll be selling more too. So I'll have to actually list, I'm 250 away now. At 100, that's 150, but I'll sell 150. So I'll probably have to do a couple of runs this weekend to hit that mark. But that's the goal, 16,000 by Monday morning. Let's see. Victor says Luis Robert ball landed yet. What a home run. All-Star break is next week, which is, it just kind of snuck up on me. I didn't realize it until I was looking at my fantasy, and I have 14 pitchers or 14 starters, 14 starts in my lineup to use. And I'm like, 14. I'm like, oh crap, next week's the All-Star break already. Which really throws a wrench in my like planning. It's it only happens twice, opening week and All-Star week, where you have the extra starts and transactions. Cooter says Bo has a house designer. Here comes 250 minimum listing prices. Exactly. Zach says 452 feet, 3 cards will get hot again. I hope not. He's Robert. That's the thing with that's the funny thing about card prices. Luis Robert was like the hottest card before he made his debut. And this tends to happen. And then he makes his debut and maybe he doesn't live up to the, does any prospect really live up to the hype? Mike Trout, even Bryce Harper, he's a Hall of Famer. He's good. Bryce Harper, surefire Hall of Famer. But has he lived up to the hype? No. Even Bryce Harper, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, has not lived up to the hype he had when he was 16, 17 years old. And so that's the crazy thing about baseball, and especially when it comes to card prices, where it's the card prices, because we're always the next best thing. And when they turn out to be the next best thing, or even, when they put up all-star numbers and potential Hall of Fame numbers, it's like, look at Bryce Harper prices. I bet if you looked at Bryce Harper prices when he first came up, and really it's a different ball game because did he have a Bowman card before he actually debuted? He may have. But anyway, you look back in 2000, when did he come up? 09, 10? Or was it before then? No, that was about right. 2009 or 10. Look at his prices then, and taken in inflation costs since then, and I bet his prices then, countering inflation, are higher than what they are now. And he's a Hall of Fame career. And you would have, at that point in time, when he came up to the big leagues in 2012. Okay, and I think his first Bowman card was 2010 or 11. I can't remember, because he and Strasburg were, I think, number one picks in 10 and 11. So I can't remember who was first. But you would have said, okay, this is going to be Bryce Harper's stats. 10 years, if he debuted in 2012, we're now 10 years into Bryce Harper's career. You show people this is what Bryce Harper's numbers are going to be in 2022. Oh my God, there's going to be a run on Bryce Harper. Everybody's going to buy Bryce Harper cards if you knew what his career would turn into. And now 10 years later, it's like, we want Jason Dominguez, who's actually been Jason Dominguez anymore. His cards have he's still in single A, and people are crapping on his, he's a bust, and he's still playing, and he's playing pretty good for a kid in high. I think he's in high A. So who's the new? Ooh, we've got to have this guy's cards. Prospecting is such a weird game. Into it, and I still am into specs, and I love minor league baseball, but I don't like the hobby side of it, because of this logo on my shirt. I've been burned too many times as a Cubs fan in my lifetime on can't miss 5-star 5-tool players like Felix PA and Josh Vitters and Brett Jackson, Tyrell Cunningham. The list goes on and on. And you in today's world, your guy comes up first Bowman Auto is $50 right out of the gate, and he might not make it past double A, and he's going to be in a dollar box in a couple years. Speaking of dollar boxes, I'm not going into card but next Saturday is the Madison Card Show, July 23rd. It's in Hotel on John Nolan Drive. I just took a sip. Got to take another sip. Or listening. Showcases will be available to rent through Crystal Clear Showcases. $30 to rent for the day. They're really nice cases. They were there. They were set up in the Williamson Ballroom last month. So if you were in that room or visited that room, those are the showcases that will be available to rent. You can come in, submit cards for grading, PSA, SGC, Matt and Masood with 5-star. Awesome dudes. They will help you out, do a great job, so you can submit cards for grading. Speaking of that, I talked to my buddy Scott last night. Made to Shearerville to Baseball Card Exchange. He picked up the 1975 Topps mini box. It is authentic and wrapped by Steve Hart and Baseball Card Exchange. So I'm going to try to help him sell the 75 Topps mini box wrapped by BBCE. So good news on that front. Let's see. Tracy says, missed this. If anyone replied earlier, anyone see the Scotty Barnes pulled on Go GTS last night? I did not watch Go GTS, and I mentioned that at the start of the show. It's something I need to watch more often. And I know Ivan's not on Go GTS anymore. And is there another? Is it a 2-man show now, or is it is it Rob that hosts the show? Cooter says the Cubs have brought up some amazing talent who they immediately traded away. Of course, I know it's, you look in I don't know if this was on Twitter or if it was in a DM string, but talking about Cubs Theo trades in particular. And Theo made some amazing trades during his time with the Cubs, but he made some really boneheaded trades in hindsight. And actually, really at the time, it was kind of like a head scratch, trading, the first trade, I think it was the first or second trade that the Theo regime made was trading Andrew Kashner to the San Diego Padres for Anthony Rizzo. That turned out to be a hell of a good trade. Another trade was on the other end of the spectrum, and that was with the Colorado Rockies and trading a young kid who only played a handful of major league games, but his name was DJ LeMahieu. The Cubs traded him for Ian Stewart. Wah, wah. That was one of the all-time worst trades. And that could go down, top 5 history. Another bad one, and worse than Jose Quintana for Dylan Cease and Eloy Jimenez. Dylan Cease is doing great. Jose Quintana was at the time, and I might be blinded by the whole in the moment, because in the moment that trade was, I didn't at the time care about trading Eloy Jimenez. Did I want him in the Cubs system? Absolutely. But I wanted Jose Quintana more because he was more valuable to both the big league club and a team need. Eloy Jimenez was still in the minor leagues. He may not make the major leagues. And he's an outfielder, right? Yeah, he's an outfielder, So that didn't bother me. Dylan Cease bothered me because I was a Dylan Cease. You've seen my collection. I was a huge Dylan Cease fan. That hurt. And it hurts even more that he's doing what he's doing this year. He's having a great year, and has he made the All-Star team yet? He should make the All-Star team. I know the initial roster he did not make, but he should be there. So that was, that's like it to be in the end. Like it could be. Give it a few more years because in Quintana's already gone. It wasn't like, Quintana was a lot more valuable to the Cubs than Ian Stewart was. And DJ LeMahieu was a pretty big loss. Cubs traded this one, was traded away. Josh Harrison was traded away, and he had some really good years in the big leagues. That was another trade that the Cubs made that I was really disappointed trading Josh Harrison. I watched him a lot with the Peoria Chiefs in like 2007 or 2008. I was excited for him. They traded him. I'm like, oh man. And he was another Josh Donaldson. They were like throw-ins. And they ended up being serviceable. And in Josh Donaldson's case, all-star level talents. Let's see. Hopefully we won't be reading about the BBCE authenticated 75 minis box that turned out to be trimmed Bowman U cards or G.I. Joe. Hopefully that's not. No. TD Sports Cards, Howard the Duck Packs. Hey, that wouldn't be, I'd be okay with that. Scott wouldn't be okay with that. I would be. Hey, Howard the Duck. I love this movie. So what else is going on? Come day. I don't think I'm going to have enough to make a batch of pickles this weekend. Now, I was telling my wife yesterday that my garden is actually doing, I planted a week later than typical. Usually because where I grew up in northern Illinois, north central Illinois, north central west Illinois is a weird, so like it's, where are you from? Northern Illinois. Oh, up by Wisconsin. Well, not really. It's a couple, Illinois is a long state. So no, not really. Northwest Illinois. I guess Northwest Illinois is probably the best regional. I say central, but really if you look at Illinois, it's not really centrally located, even east-west. I'm on the western side. Anyway, growing up in Illinois, garden planting was done usually Mother's Day weekend, Sunday Mother's Day. But now here, I learned early on, it's like, oh, you always plant your garden on Mother's Day. And this is going back 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. Anyway, we got a hard frost after Mother's Day, like the week right after Mother's Day. Didn't learn my lesson. Plant Mother's Day weekend, hard frost. Okay, I'm going to wait another week. And so usually you're safe here in southern Wisconsin the week after Mother's Day. And till I remember that because I was jarring my first in 2017, our 5-year Fridays are at 5-year. I jarred my first pickles that year in 2017, the day before our wedding, or maybe the Thursday before our wedding. But I was like stressed out to all hell. So I needed activities to keep me busy because I took the days off just to basically be available to run down to the wedding venue, just help out here and there with all that stuff. But when I wasn't, I was like, anxious, stressed, all that. I need to do something to keep me busy, keep my mind occupied. I'm going to jar some pickles. So there we go. Zach says, is Bo buffering for anyone else at chat for a Friday? I'm busy shipping away, running a 50% off 25 plus sale and moved over 300 cards. That is awesome. I keep saying I'm going to do another 50% off sale, but I'm like, I keep listing and I keep selling. So I'm like continuously nearly 200 items to ship at any given moment. I think I'm at 180. I was able to trim it down to around 100 yesterday. I had a good overnight in sales. So I'm back up to 175 to 180 items to ship. So I think another Goodwill pallet will be coming up in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. Number 5. Tracy says we're going to give the card away at the end like they do with the big pulls, then change their mind. Someone said it would be high 5, maybe 6 figures once graded. Taking time to decide what to do with it. It was quite the stink in the live chat. Really? Is that a backyard breakers situation? We're going to give the card away at the end like they do with the big pulls, then changed their mind. Interesting. Is there scuttlebutt on Twitter about that? Ooh, that could be big Friday Twitter drama today. Let's see. Baseball card curmudgeon, what is up? Good morning to you. George says I would have been like, WTF is Scotty Barnes if I pulled it, because I seriously have no clue who he is. Just about to ask the same thing. Thought it was just my stream. It's me. It's my crappy internet. It is raining. 608 says it is raining in Madison, so that probably is affecting somewhat, but he's on buffer mode. But it's also my really crappy Wi-Fi. Buffering for Victor. Damn. He doesn't hit go live on YouTube. He hits go buffer. When John gets back from England, we need him to produce a telethon to raise money to buy bow and powder. I'm not sure why. I always, it goes in stretches. I'm wondering, well, see, our router is like tucked away in a cabinet. And I'm sure that, but I've gone up, and when I had a lot of issues previously, I like adjusted the antennas, and then it was smooth sailing for, several months. And then just here recently, within the last couple weeks, it's been on buffer mode again. Bearded Bookworm said, I almost went for a Goodwill pallet. I'll wait for the next one to not worry about completely draining my funds. Zach says, one of the best tech companies in the world is close to Bo Epic, and it can't be the rain. Otherwise, every hospital will go down. It is me. So topic of the day. The National is coming up. We're less than 2 weeks from the National. A lot of people say Goodwill pallets are on their website. They are, yes. There is less than 2 weeks away from the National. There's a lot of talk that don't list your cards on eBay because nobody's going to be on eBay. Everybody's going to be at the National. That is that's a falsity. The National that week is not, to most extent, it will not affect any online card sales. Now, you've got like a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle, if you've got a Patrick Mahomes rookie auto silver chrome refractor prism color, probably wouldn't help to sell it during the National Week. Those high-end things, those are going to be affected because a lot of those big-time baller buyers, they're going to be at the National. They're probably going to be paying less attention online. But it's also one of those, everybody does it. Their cards, even if you're selling $100 cards, you're not going to be affected. A lot of, especially like my bargain box cards, $1.50 free shipping, $2, whatever it is, many of those buyers aren't going to be at the National. Well, sure, there's going to be people at the Singles Club digging through their dollar boxes, but for the most part, it's like a small little blip. It's like you take you look at a globe and where's your, even Chicago on the world scheme of the globe is just a blip, and that's what it's going to be like. Cooter says maybe the Wi-Fi signal can't penetrate the Tab B. I think all of my issues began when I erected the Bowman U Tower. I'm surprised your connection is good enough for you to log onto eBay and upload stuff. There are times where it's like, son of a B, my computer's slow. It's not my computer, it's my damn Wi-Fi. But it's like it takes a couple. I'd probably be really extra efficient if I did get my Wi-Fi connection figured out. So I did a poll last night, and I thought I did a poll last year during the National. I didn't. But I did ask people last year. It was not in poll form. So I'm not even going to go over the numbers, because usually it's like, hey, are you going to the National? People that aren't going to the National most likely aren't going to say no. they'll vote in a poll, but they're not going to reply, no, I'm not going. Unless it's like, I've gone for 10 years. I'm not going this year. So you're not going to get clear results. So Hobby Evolution, episode 338. Where are we at now? 622. Hobby Evolution 338. I was reviewing the July Madison card show. I held the July Madison card show, and Bowman is 1 million Cubs favorite set again. I think over the last year, I know there was a lot of, okay, I like Allen and Ginter better this time around. I like Topps Heritage. I think I've settled on Bowman, and I think the Tower. So Bowman is my favorite. So Ken added, great to hear that you had such a great to hear that you had such a good turnout for the Madison Card Show this weekend. I'd been thinking that perhaps you put too much stock into the National. That might hurt regional card shows where people travel, but a smaller local one, collectors still collect. And I think that's a great point. So I replied to Ken. I said, yeah, I think that's exactly it. And I kind of knew that going in based on conversations with attendees at the June show. About 80% of the people said they were not going to the National. Now, I didn't do a formal survey. It's not in writing. It's just kind of anecdotal. Basically, and remember, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. The National last in Chicago. Well, in Rosemont, which is even closer. 2 hours I'm on the far west side in Madison, from my driveway to the Rosemont interchange. 2 hours, basically, right on there. About an hour 55, actually. So 2 hour drive, Madison to Chicago, and 8 out of 10 people said no, they're not going, and many others were like, I may go for the day, I may go check it out. But it's really, and now it's in Atlantic City. Yes, you do have a lot of, and I no matter where the National is going to be, you're going to have a local, and a lot of people that live within a 3 hour drive from Atlantic City. So, but I think 86 a gallon, 386 at one of the quick trips. So gas wasn't, when I was in Chicago this past weekend, gas was still up over $5 a gallon. We had supply chain issues last July because I was working in supply chain, and one of the many reasons I wanted to get the hell out. There wasn't, we weren't seeing all of this inflation. People were still getting those checks from the government. Cards were booming. The hobby was on fire. So it was a great time to be alive in the hobby. This year, not so much. Everything's expensive. There's no more free money. I use the air quotes because free ain't free. It's a much different, the economic climate is much different this year compared to last year. So I don't think it's going to affect online sales. Now, unless you're selling, even the big auctions have stuff like, now they're not ending. I don't think typically they end during the National, but they're active during the National because they can be set up at their booths. And it's like, hey, look at this Ty Cobb, this Mickey Mantle 52. It's at, you name the auction house, Golden, Heritage, Robert Edward. You can go bid on it right now. It ends in 2 weeks or whatever it may be. But when you're selling $2 cards on eBay, you're not going to see anything. In fact, I see a lot of tweets like during it's the time to buy during the National. It's the time to buy. Well, if everybody's buying, is it really the time to buy when there's all that competition? Zach says, you began when John Nolan started roaming the streets of the 608. Long time challenge. That's Wi-Fi challenge started back in the 1800s. Rich says, good morning, Hobby World. Heading to the Dallas Card Show in a bit. Bearded Bookworm says, mega break stream of the Bowman U Tower. I've actually, that's a great point he brings up, bearded bookworm. Like every once in a while I'll be sitting here and it's like I need a break from the shipping monotony. I should open a blaster. And it's like, no, I think I'm down to like 47 unopened blasters. And I probably should make it. Actually, I don't know if I'll make time today. I have time. It's just it's not a priority to go look at Walmart's selection of cards. But it's like, I want to have 50 unopened blasters for whatever. I don't know, just a quirk. But I've thought maybe I'll do like a big live break stream, like on a college football Saturday. Maybe it's a 1 versus 2. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see, because I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I will open some of them. I'm not going to keep them all sealed. I will open some of them during college football Saturdays. I may flip them if the prices are there. If they're selling for $30, I'm not going to flip them for 30 because, that's basically break. I think 30, like $28 or $29 is the break even point. If I sold them on eBay with fee and postage. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My wife and mother-in-law will be in Florida for like 2 weeks in December, so I may have like a breakathon in December, which is a good time because I think Blowout is gonna have some on Black Friday. It's been a couple years since they've had like really awesome. Actually, really, did they have any good deals last year? They might have had one decent deal, but actually two years. So it would have been November 2020. There were some really good deals. I was able to make some quick flips, and by quick I mean like 3 months. I was buying, I think it was Heritage high number mega boxes, like the retail mega boxes. I think I was buying for $40 each, and 3-4 months later I was flipping them for $150. Now that was also like prime time boom. I don't think those prices have, usually you see sealed wax prices continue to climb. I don't think we've seen that. I think the boom, they kind of just either plateaued or started to slowly decline. Let's see. Brian says last getting to the hotel. Well, that's not good. Cooter says, okay, after today, we can agree to talk about anything but the National. Would much rather hear about local shows which represent the hobby to most collectors. That's a great point. So I did a poll. Last night. Let's get the up to the minute results. And it's a decent reflection, I think. Now, I'm going to say hobby Twitter doesn't represent. Hobby Twitter is almost like the National in terms of representing the collector, because most people that collect cards aren't in hobby Twitter. And I say that with air quotes because they're not like tweeting. I really didn't get involved into hobby Twitter until 18. Like once I started the 1 Million Cubs project, I was collecting cards in the hobby prior to, but I just wasn't very active on social media. So I think it represents hobby Twitter, hobby Instagram, hobby Facebook, whatever it may be. I think represents a very small portion of the hobby in general. So my poll, so we're at, let's see, 170 votes. And I did it for 1 week. So 170 votes. Will you be attending the National this year? 8.2% no, will not be attending the National. 11.8% of hobby Twitter. And I think that represents, basically 1% of the hobby. 1% of people that collect cards or less will be at the National in the grand scheme. I mean, you look at my card show, the Madison card show in July of 2021, I would have considered a small monthly hotel show. It's a little bigger. I wouldn't consider it a regional show. It's 120 tables, great crowd. But I'd still say it's on the smaller end. I think I wouldn't consider anything regional until you get over 200 tables. But it's still, I think it reflects, there's a lot now, fast forward to July 2022, a lot more of my dealers that set up at the Madison Card Show, which by the way is coming up next Saturday, 8 days away, July 23rd, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Many more of my dealers are now either dealers at the National or will be going to the National. I actually have several dealers that they'll be leaving like the next day they'll be set up at the Madison Card Show and they'll be leaving either Sunday or Monday to set up at the National. Let's see. Brian says round trip airfare was $100 from Miami, expected way higher with gas prices. That's interesting. I wonder what the price is because I haven't searched. And flights that was just one cog in the wheel. It was collectively all of the costs involved. And now buying a new house, it's, every dollar saved is important. Okay, so we're going to go Madison to Philadelphia. Let's see. We're going to go. Okay, this was a lot easier before. How come I can't? Okay, July. So I was going to leave July 27th and return July 31st. Oh, where is this? There we go. Wednesday. Okay, let's just do this. Show flights. Madison to Philadelphia. This is, we're going to do straight through, nonstop. Let's see. One stop. Where's the nonstop? Nonstop stops. Nonstop. And dun da da da. Ooh. And I think the lowest it got, like a month ago, it was $585. Like right before I made the decision not to go, it was $585 for a round trip nonstop Madison to Philly. Let's see. Cooter says the YouTube and podcast national hype has me longing for political commercials. There is a lot of it, and I would agree. And Cooter, I assume you're not going to the national, and I'm the same way this year. Now, last year, it's like, give me that. I want to consume that national content because I'm going. This year, it's like, I don't really care because the national is all about the hype. It's only cool if you go. And it's basically just a card show on steroids. And it's kind of like a family reunion. No, it's not. It's better than a family reunion. It's way better than a family reunion. It's like a friend reunion. It's like friends you haven't seen for a year, friends that you only see once a year. But if you're not there, it's like you're just you're looking out the window in the dead of winter, longing for warm, sunny weather that I'm complaining about this morning. That there's too much warm, sunny weather. I need rainy days. Anyway, let's see. Cooter says, I finally found the last of the 66 short prints I needed. Thank God I don't have to face that mountain again. Bearded Bookworm says, I just checked that pallet auction, ended at 701 for 733 pounds of total weight. That's on average. I'm paying about 90 cents a pound. That 701 for 733 is a little higher than 90 cents. DR says, I was wondering, could you deduct your SGC card grading fees on the Joe Tinker if you do a video on your channel here? Would it be a business? Yes, absolutely. Because I will get a 1099 from YouTube, or actually from Google, for advertising. So it's a relatable expense. It's content for a revenue stream. But yes, absolutely. Which, by the way, I need to follow up with my accountant. He's in for like a Zoom to talk about the hobby. And he wanted to set up at one of my card shows. So I need to follow up with him. Hey, we could hammer out card show and content in one day. Dan says, did you notice the standard shipping rates went up substantially more than the 2-cent increase on stamps? So the rates went up on Sunday, this past Sunday. 1 ounce didn't go up too much, 4 cents, 53 to 57 cents, still less postage stamp, and you get the unreliable tracking with it. 2 ounces went up. 2 ounces went up 73 to I think 81 cents, and 3 ounces went from 93 cents to $1.05. Let's see. Victor says, quick question. So when I upload my page, I'll go back in and revise each listing to add an additional photo and set up offer limits. My question is, how important is that second photo? It depends on what you're uploading. If it's when I list my cards and my even my $5 and $10 cards through Filex, I'm only doing one photo, and I don't see it's sometimes, especially if it's on vintage, people want to see the back and all that. But if it's modern stuff, there's no need in my eyes. I don't think it affects. I do know for the eBay algorithms, the more photos, I think like they say 6 is the sweet spot. But again, it's all at this point when you're doing bulk and it's $2, it's like the law of diminished returns. You're spending more time than what you're actually gonna make in sales based on improving the algorithm. So I would say probably not waste your time adding a second photo if you're doing file exchange, because likely if you're using file exchange, you're just uploading bulk lower end cards. Now, if you're uploading, shiny refractors that are $50, then the more the merrier when it comes to photos. But file exchange bulk $2 cards, don't waste your time on additional photos. George says, but the thing is, unless you're trying to be a hobby baller, live in the area, or are in the sports card business, I would imagine less than 0.001% of collectors go to the National. Yeah. And when I say 1%, that's, I think 1% is probably too high, because, when you look at a lot of the people that talk about the National, that are going to the National, they're content creators, they're full-time in the business. They're hobby ballers, they're buying the fancy Patrick Mahomes rookie auto patch, chrome prism, pink pulsar refractor, and all that. So I would agree. It's probably 0.1%. Let's see. Jenny says, you're correct. The people I know that are going to the National are going for their business. Business trip for me, says Ed. So I think that's pretty common, unless you're close, you're within a drive. And even so, take for example my firsthand account of customers and dealers at the Madison Card Show last July. It's a quick drive to Rosemont. It's a really easy drive from Madison to Rosemont. You hop on I-39 down to Rockford, jump on I-90 and head east, and boom, you're there in 2 hours. But you're paying, again, it's not that, well, it costs 15 or 18 or whatever it costs to get into the show. It's any one expense. It's the collective, because you have to drive 2 hours to get to Rosemont from Chicago. And this is just for an example. If you're at gas prices today, you're twice as much as what gas prices were a year ago. So you've got gas taxes, tollways. You're gonna pass a toll in South Beloit. You're gonna pass, I think, 3 tolls between Rockford and Rosemont, maybe 4. So there's $10 to $15 in tolls. Then you're going to have to pay $15 to park. And then you're going to have to pay $15 to walk in the door. So you're at 30, 45, 75 bucks just to get in. And most casual collectors, they may only have $75 in their monthly card budget. They're not going to spend $75 just to walk into a card show. Probably 0.1% or less. Victor asks a follow-up question. Do you get email requests asking for a second photo? Curious what the chat thinks. I do. I mean, it's common and it's not common. I get it, a couple times a week, but also I'm dealing with 16,000 listings. So it does happen. And sometimes it just gets lost. I get so many messages, it gets lost at times. If it's a $40 card, I'm going to be a little faster at providing additional photos or additional information. If it's a $1.50 1989 Topps Ricky Henderson card and somebody asks about centering or the back, it's low on my priority list. And I think I received a message yesterday and it's like, why are they asking this question? But I get it. I think, somebody asked, I think it was actually a 1987 Topps card. And they asked, would you consent? And I'm like, no. I would say it's EX. And I say that to like every I don't want to say because it may be near. It's like I have a Ron Santo PSA 3 rookie. I think I bought it from Nick, who's often in the chat. One of the dealers at my show. And it's a PSA 3 Ron Santo rookie card. And I'm like, this looks like, I don't know, a 7, a 6, a 3. Like it looks so good. And it's a 3. So I have no idea how to grade cards. I mean, so if somebody, yes, there's Nick. That P3 Santo's beautiful. And it's a 3. And I have no idea. Like, if somebody asked me, would you consider this card near mint? Probably not. It's probably fair to good based on what I see. Like not near. I don't want to call any card near mint. So anyway, let's see. George says, I think it would be cool for a one-time experience, but I doubt I would go multiple years. I will go and I'm in a different spot because I'm now doing cards full time. And, if it's in Chicago, even if I'm not doing cards full time, I'll go to the National in Chicago. Because it's easy for me. Plus I will say, if you're within driving distance, you can make money back if you get the VIP packages. I probably made a profit not taking into consideration the cards I bought. But I paid for the super VIP package last year at the National. And I bet, and that paid for with VIP package, you get free parking, and you get the swag bag. So parking's paid for. With the swag bag, the contents, I was listing from my hotel room that Wednesday night of the National. And I basically sold probably 90% of the swag bag that night. By the morning, everything was sold. And it paid for everything. It paid for the super VIP pack, the parking pass already paid for it, paid for my gas, paid for my tolls. And I still came out ahead and had $50 to $100 to spend on cards. You could still do that if you're flying, but it's only going to put a small little dimple into your overall expenses. Oh, I take that back. It didn't pay for everything because my hotel costs. So but even then, we stay like 15, 20 minutes out. So the hotel is fairly cheap. It may have actually paid for, I wrote a blog about it. Let's see if I can bring that blog up. And that'll actually detail what I sold and made. So this will be fun. It's Friday. We're less than an hour. It has been a less lively chat this morning. Less viewed too. We're only at 26 views, 26 viewers. So let's go to my blog and, well, crap. So I stopped organizing. So this is going to be, and this is why I want, it's like, screw it, I'm just going to do YouTube videos and not write. But it's nice to have like a home site, because I use it to easily access the link to both my YouTube channel and my eBay store. Let's see. Let's see. See, the crappy thing is I had organized by month, but then I stopped doing that because I just kind of stopped writing a bunch of blogs. There's the article on the Card Life TV show. Here's the article on, okay, this is annoying. Let's go to the chat real quick. To your credit, you were very prompt when I ran line on a photo of a Brandon belt several months ago. Yes. And that's legit, because it was like a noticeable scan line. Here we go. So it wasn't too far back. How to attend digital for free. Now, again, this is coming from me. It's a 2-hour drive to the Rosemont show in Chicago. I used Uncle Rich is in the background. We're at the Singles Club. I'm smiling because I got a great deal at their booth. Let's see. Here we go. How to attend the National for free. So I bought the Super VIP pass. It was actually $200. $200. I thought it was $150. Let's see. So admission and parking for all 5 days, if you were paying, per day without a VIP pass, would be $175. But a parking pass is included with the Super VIP pass, which I think parking for 5 days is $75 because it's $15 each, $15 a day. You get the perk for the VIP lounge. So last year, I went upstairs to the VIP lounge, and they had free autographs. Cecil Fielder, Wally Joyner, and Jan Stenerud were signing. I jumped in Cecil Fielder's line. I think I paid $5 for an 8x10 photo, and I got Cecil Fielder's autograph on that 8x10. I actually sold it. I think it was a few months later before I sold it, but it sold for $20. Additionally, Pristine Auctions was the sponsor of the lounge. They mystery envelopes that had signed 8x10s authenticated. I actually got 2 of them. I pulled a Dale Jarrett, which I gave to Val Mars, NASCAR Radio. And the other one was Ned Yost, and I eventually sold that for like $20. You get the swag bags. This is where you really recoup your money. So in the Super VIP, you get 2 of each thing that's in the swag bag. So the regular VIP, you get 1 each from corporate sponsors like Panini, Leaf, Wildcard. You also get all 18 VIP autograph signers. Now they're usually like, not really. Rick Russell was one of them a couple years ago. So I ended up selling my tickets, my autograph tickets, for $50. Okay, so here's my results from last year's National in Rosemont. I ended up selling Panini packs. I made $112 off the packs from Panini. Each pack contained 10 cards. My sales on the singles of Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Wander Franco, Julio Rodriguez, and Jared Kelenic grossed $112. Leaf packs was $36 on gross sales. There were 4 cards within the packs: Blaze Jordan, Spencer Torkelson, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields. So that was $36. Hey, how about Wild Card? You would think Wild Card. You see Wild Card piled on the shelves at Walmart and Target right now. But when summer, it was popular. And I sold my Wild Card for $113.50. So if you followed Wildcard on social media, they gave you an additional free pack that was not part of the package. So I didn't sell these outright. I actually ripped my packs, which helped me out because I made more than what I would have sold them for unopened. So I pulled some nice hits, including a Trevor Lawrence Illumination that sold alone for $35. My gold packs yielded a blue hollow and a red hollow of Spencer Rattler, who was really popular at that time. He was the first NIL signer at the National. Collectively, those two cards of Rattler sold for $40. Other cards that sold included Ian Book, Mac Jones, Micah Parsons, Justin Fields, and Davis Mills. So $113.50 just for the cards that I sold out of the wild card packs. Upper Deck offered up a 5x7 Jumbo Goodwin Champions Michael Jordan card. My first sold for $25. I sold a second one for $18. So that was another $43. I mentioned the autograph tickets. I sold those through the blowout forums. Did an exchange there at the venue. $354.50. So it paid for my super VIP package. It was what, $200? So that's $154 left over. It paid for that probably would have paid for most of my hotel stay. So that was my results. That was fun to go back. Actually, if you want to read through, I hit the high points. Here's the link to that article, how I attended the National for free. Now I didn't get to buy any cards with that, but it definitely helped. I basically made a $150 profit, $125, I guess, after fees and shipping. $120, $125 that went toward hotel, food, gas, tolls. So let's see. George says, I'm sure you can bring it up, but will your internet hold out? DR says, I understand if you don't want to talk about this, but I was wondering, since you are the CEO of your own business, what do you think about sponsors on YouTube channels? I think they're great. When you're a business owner, every revenue is important. So I'm all about sponsors on YouTube. How does that dude put out such great content and has no sponsor? I agree. And he needs more subscribers. I can't believe the low sub count because John has awesome videos. Low Roller Scratcher says, are you listing more soccer cards in your store since World Cup is coming? No, because I just don't want to take the time to comp and look up cards. Basically, all my soccer goes into a quarter box. And I'm probably missing out on $10 cards, $20 cards, but it's just the time spent looking comps up. And, if I pull out and comp them, spend the time comping them all out, and they're all $1.50 free shipping cards, it's not worth the time. George says, I'm not in the business, DR, but I think it's as long as you know what you're getting into. Personally, I do it so as long as it didn't censor my opinion. And that's, yeah. I guess overall, yes, I think YouTube sponsorship is great, but obviously there are caveats. I wouldn't want, something a product I didn't believe in, shady stuff, anything like that. Just like with anything, you don't want to partner with people that are, shady and all that stuff. Cooter says, next week, do a topic of anything but the damn National and see how many folks show up in the chat. Maybe that's why only 14 people are watching. It's either crappy Wi-Fi or it's the National talk. Brian said, got Super VIP and Panini VIP party. Topps has a party the same night. I got a free invite. Rich is on the way to the show. See you all next week. Enjoy Dak's card show. Did you see the tweet about wild card recently? I guess some person sent some cards to PSA to grade and PSA refused because they are unlicensed. Interesting. Did not see that. David says, talking about Rattler, surprised there are no NIL athletes at the National this year. Probably because of Spencer Rattler. That's how they came out. Boom, NIL, Spencer Rattler. And then he gets benched and he's Spencer Rattler. Brian says, just got accepted on Whatnot yesterday. Definitely buying at the National. Boom Slang in the house. Low Roller says you can use Sports Card Scanner to look up the value of the cards on soccer. Again, it takes time. It's not worth the time to comp a bunch of cards that may be worth 25 cents. So I'll put them in a box and try to move them for 25 cents. And I assume that they've been in 25-cent boxes for a while. People are always my soccer boxes. So I assume that was good is picked out. That's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button if you, despite my poor internet connection. Please don't against me. I'm always trying to figure out how to switch antennas to get better reception down here. Hey, only 11 more months. New house, new Wi-Fi, better Wi-Fi. So hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I will go live tomorrow morning. Not sure what time. I would say around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. No card shows this weekend for me. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.